Welcome back to A to Z Health. I'm Adam Zaks, and today I have with me Frederick Krasey, and his whole focus is on consciousness and awareness. He's an international life coach, speaker and writer, and someone that has a lot of resonance with what I'm doing with A to Z Health. So I really want to share Frederick with the world and introduce you all to a great man. So Frederick, how did you become Frederick Krasey, the life coach?
Simply, it was an evolution of experience. I've been training, coaching, counselling for over 35 years, run a lot of businesses and managed bands when I was 18, and then got into the security industry, many different industries, and there was always personal development involved, there was always training involved, and when you're a business leader, there's always coaching involved and counselling because you're dealing with people's issues that work for you and things like that. And it just evolved over the years that as I was able to continuously overcome some pretty profound challenges, people noticed it, so they started to book appointments with me, and out of that came this passion of mine to raise consciousness and awareness.
Fantastic. Was there a particular moment where something really changed for you, like some sort of catalyst that really profoundly made you aware that this is what your mission was?
Absolutely, Adam. I think the main thing I realised that every time I achieved some sort of large success, there was still an emptiness, an incongruence inside me, and I realised that yes, this is good and I've achieved this and I've got this and this is all happening, but I'm not doing what I really want to do, and that is raise consciousness and awareness and give people more choice, more synaptic connections, more opportunity. And because I was always able to do, be, have, get what I want, experience what I want, I wanted to be able to share that with others that had earned the right, because when I tried to take those sort of people with me, they couldn't come because they couldn't come, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I realised for a long time that this was my journey, but I was always getting ready, never quite there. And then quite recently, I decided to live that authentic life and step right into this full-time, permanent, and it's radically changed everything.
Fantastic. And so over the years, I'm quite aware that you've been able to develop your own concepts, tools and trainings around your coaching. Could you explain a little bit about your concepts and tools and trainings that you've developed?
Certainly. I don't think it's so much me developing my own personal tools and concepts, it's my understanding of how to integrate many learnings. For many years I've been an NLP practitioner, and I've looked into integral theory, spiral dynamics, the viable systems model, disc profiling, MBT. I have probably never had a year where I haven't been at some sort of study. So what has evolved for me is a really powerful intuitive synthesis of all the knowledge I've gleaned, all the curiosities I've had, and all the hardships and experiences I not only have had, but the people that I've interacted with have had. So out of that I've been probably the longest study I've done is MSU.
What's that?
I was waiting for you to ask. Make stuff up.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So really, Carl Jung is an incredible person who is well renowned for his contributions to life. And one of the things he says, learn all your formulas, learn all your technologies, but when you get face to face with a client, forget it all. And what he's really saying is get present to that person's situation, that person's needs. So my most potent catalyst for other people's benefit is getting present to them, having an open heart of compassion and empathy and really listening, and giving them and allowing them the space to drop their mask, be themselves, and lo and behold, out of that comes their authenticity along with mine, and a real situation happens for them.
You see where this guy's head's at, guys? It's incredible stuff, and it really resonates with me, the things you say. And you mentioned Carl Jung. someone that Bruce Lee really studied profoundly as well, and he has this sort of saying, rigidity is death, pliability is life. And you said something to me the other day that really resonated with that saying, and it was about increasing your synaptic connections in people. And so what is a synaptic connection? How can people raise this to better their life?
Okay, depending on the level of myelination in the brain, which is that white matter, and the ability for people to make neural pathways, it's about dealing with complexity. The more choice we have, the more adaptable we are. The more we can handle complexity, the more likely we are to survive and thrive and become and overcome and achieve and get. The species that have the least amount of neural complexity, they become extinct very quickly. So what it is about giving people more choice. When I interact with people, I say, why did you do that? And the person will say to me, well, what else could I do? And I say, well, you could have done this, you could have done that. So I teach people about drop-down menus to say, well, there's got to be at least 5 choices to any decision.
Yeah.
So it's about expanding people's model of the world, their worldview, about giving them more choice, not taking choice away, giving them more choice. And then lo and behold, out of that, instead of having 2 choices, which is a dilemma, do you want the bullet in the head or the tummy? No, I don't want the bullet at all. I want a wider selection of choice. Or do you want it Monday or Tuesday? I'd like it Thursday, or I wouldn't like it at all. So a lot of people think they have to make a choice, but they don't really expand those options into the drop-down menus of possibility.
Sure. And do you think that that's a possible cause for a lot of people's depression?
Depression and anxiety is a huge area. I work with overcoming anxiety and depression, and that's one of the concepts and perhaps models you were thinking of when you asked me, because I take that training and teaching into corporations, into schools, I take it into sporting clubs, and recently I've taken it into the vocational area where people are long-term unemployed, and I give them the opportunity to learn how to manage resourcefulness and unresourcefulness. So the answer is certainly yes. Yeah.
Fantastic. And what is the main thing that you feel is the cause of this I don't know, I guess people being stuck in society, the anxiety and the depression, and what would be one of the first few things that you would say to someone to become unstuck?
Perfect, beautiful. William James was a psychologist in the late 1800s, and he says most people live a life of quiet desperation. And what you see out there as normalcy is actually a state of arrested development. What is arrested development? Where you have people who are open, you have people who are closed, and people are stuck on pause, like the VCR. So when I work with people, I go out of my way to find out if they're closed or arrested. If they're open, it's easy, I work with them. But if the crowbar snaps as I'm trying to get the pause button unstuck, I realise they're closed, and I say thank you for flying Lufthansa, because there's not much I can do with that.
Yeah.
But if they, in that effort of trying to release them into openness, if there's an achievement there, wonderful, profound things happen. And it's a recipe, anxiety and depression. You're either in a resourceful state or an unresourceful state. And resourceful, the whole panoramic view is open. All the dashboard of your life is in front of you. You can see where you're going. You've got all the choice. You've got access to your resources. You're up from here. You're breathing strong, and you're in that fight or flight mode, that choice, that decision. You can deal with your life. Where people get finished off and they enter the world of depression and anxiety is when they start to cower, fold in, look down. Looking down, see 3 feet in front of you, walk into parked cars.
Sure.
Looking up, a lot of scope to have wider choice to their access. And another thing, when people are unresourceful, it's like your mobile phone when the screen goes dull and you're on a low charge. You just don't have the energy. And when you interview people and see people and look back, it's in the movies, it's in life. Where did they get finished off with the baseball bat? It was in that unresourceful state.
Yeah.
So I teach that in my classes and my trainings to give people the ability to switch themselves out of that anxiety and depression. And it's caused from a disparity. This is the world they wanted, This is the experiences they hope to have and the outcomes they hope to have, and this is what they've really got. And that huge gap sometimes gets so far away they go, what's the hope? I can't make it, it's all over. And down they drop, and then life does come along and finish them off with a baseball bat. One way or another, they either have an unhealthy relationship for many years and say, where did it all go? Or they just trash their health. And you're the health coach, so you know why I have a powerful segment in my training about health. And thank you for being on board now. I can send them to an even better professional in that area than me, so it's all good. But yeah, that's it.
That's very humble of you. Freddie, I know one of your favourite sayings is ignorance is sin. And so it would be very ignorant of me not to ask you about the book that you're writing. Could you tell us a little bit about your book and what's in it for people who are going to read it?
Sure. The book I'm currently writing is called The Keys to Happiness and Self-Love. It's a working title, but how it's come about is that I have noticed the reason why people struggle is because of ignorance. The reason why they do silly things is ignorance. Not being religious here, but Jesus on the cross, the Roman soldier, forgive them, Lord, they know not what they do. And if you look down in life, why you did things, you knew that if you had more choice, you weren't as ignorant, you would not have done what you've done when there's challenges and circumstances. But you had no other choice. It's okay, it's worked out. So in the book that I'm writing, I've managed recently through some processes I have developed. I haven't really yet worked out how to package it and transfer it, because I realised unless the person's ready for it and it's the right space for them, it's just not like getting, if you give someone a hammer, the whole world looks like a nail. So I can't take this process out and layer it on everybody. But what I can do is I can offer it to those that are ready, that can dock with it, and it is right for them. But what I'm finding is I've had the most profoundest shifts. I've just recently come back, I think I've been back 3 weeks from a 3.5 months world coaching tour. On that tour, some of my clients that I had internationally, I've been working for 10 years, some for 4 years, some for 15 years, with self-love and achieving happiness for these people. Some of them have been in the deepest and darkest places for 10 years and so on. I found when they could get to that place of self-love, there was a massive transformation. And one particular chap who went through that situation was able to transfer that to his wife, his child, a business attached to that family, and it's gone out into a community. And he's running at 2 o'clock in the morning saying, dude, if you don't write a book, I'm coming to get you. So I've sort of been hesitant to write a book because I didn't want to put anything out there from my own ego space. I really thought, well, I've got nothing to say, it's all been said. But I've been now approached by many people on Facebook, people in my life, when are you going to write a book? When are you going to write a book? When are you going to write a book? And I only feel to put out what's alive in me. But now when I see the massive shifts of people who've struggled in anxiety and depression and they're blocked, get free, and then after a month or two, not needing me again, wow.
Yeah.
So hence that's why the book is there.
Getting that aha moment in their eyes. That
Just free, just alive. And the beauty is, as a coach and a counsellor, my major goal is to get them never needing a coach or counsellor again. They might want a confidant, or they might want to share, they might want some advice, but not be stuck in the paradigm where they're helpless and they need another person to dig them out of the holes. In fact, a large majority of the people I've been coaching now are pulling other people out of holes, and they're sorting out their lives. And that's the greatest thrill I have when I see other people lighting up. They may not become life coaches or anything like that, but they are actually helping their kids evolve and manifest their destinies and their hopes. They're helping their spouses and partners and other people in their community go, oh, I just shared what you shared at work, and all that sort of stuff. So I'm excited to see people get their lives back. You see, 87% of humanity are asleep, autopilot, and they're unconscious. They're not aware that what's going on. And then there's 10%. They're running the businesses and the politics and the policies, and they're using the rest as food. 3% are holding things together. There are many caretakers and caregivers in the world. Caregivers, people like Nelson Mandela, Lady Di, Mother Teresa, a lot of people with a generous spirit, a loving spirit, compassion, empathy, and there's caretakers. And caretakers are not seen. They're little guys in the blue boiler suits with the oil cans running around making sure this amusement park that we live in still works, functions and doesn't fall apart. They're a rare breed, they're unseen, they're unknown, they don't look or seek for recognition. But where we are now, we are approaching some situations in life where more needs to come to the forefront in the areas of love, of help, of compassion, of empathy, and more than anything else, awareness and consciousness, because ignorance is not only a challenge in relationships or personal goals. We don't have a crisis of energy, we don't have a crisis of food, we have a crisis of ignorance. And I'm quoting Buckminster, the late Buckminster Fuller on that statement. And I find that wherever ignorance is, consciousness is not.
Okay. With all of that, Freddy, with all of these things that you've experienced and all these things that you've done, is there a legacy? Is there something where someone else can grab that baton and run with it, and something that will continue on what you do and what you love?
Absolutely, Adam, and the beautiful thing is it's not about me. The legacy I've seen is where I've interacted and I've catalysed and I've made things happen. I'm now starting to feel so blessed that I'm seeing others do it that are not connected to me. Thank God, otherwise we're doomed. But the legacy is that humanity is starting to wake up. I'm just part of that wave, part of that recognition. I've identified it, I've heard the calling, and I've walked into surrender and submission to that process along with others. So I'm just part of a wave of process of consciousness and awareness on the planet. So the legacy that I wish to leave is one less spot fire in the world, a place of safety, a place of happiness, a place of harmony, a place of hope, a place of love.
Great. There you have it, folks. Frederick Krasey of frederickkrasey.com. If you want to get in touch with him, get some coaching, get some of that anxiety out of the way and refocus on what you really love in the world, hit Freddy up. We're really happy that we were able to share this with you, and have an incredible day. Thanks. I'm Adam Zaks of A2ZedHealth. It's been a pleasure.